Okay, so just to add to the complexity of this instrument, the signal flow, as we've seen, is straightforward in terms of the sound sources going into the filters, going into the effects section, and then to the master. Moving down to the modulation section, any of these that turn blue can be modulated. Any of these parameters of each of the instruments can be modulated. So, for example, I'm going to modulate the filter 1 cutoff from source A. Actually, we'll take source B, which was... Okay. If I click on it, it turns blue. And as you can see down here, the section over here, every time I click on something, it'll show up the target. So if I want to modulate, I'm going to modulate filter 1, frequency B, with an LFO. I'll go turn it on. Click the page of the drop-down menu over here, LFO 1, and it now shows me LFO 1. Now these are modulation functions, different modulation functions. You have LFOs, you have envelopes, MSEG, we'll talk about MSEG a little later, sequencers, an envelope follower, and a mod map. So MSEG and mod map we'll leave out for now. But for our purposes, we're now going to turn this LFO. We're going to utilize this LFO on the frequency 1. Frequency 1 of this sound source. Why is it not doing anything? Okay, we need to modulate it by giving it some depth. Okay, that's a bit much. So you get the idea. So we can open up as many of these as we like. So click on the damp section of the same filter, comes up over here, it's highlighted over here, give it some target. Now, it's created the LFO 1 is used already for this one. We can go and create a new LFO, or we can use the same LFO to modulate this other parameter. I'm going to go and create a new LFO. As you can see here, it opens up, it adds another LFO. So we've got 2 LFOs, each assigned to different sources. You can open up to 16 different LFOs. This is just how deep this instrument is. Okay, so LFO 2 is modulating the damp section. Let's give it some. That's quite distorting. Okay. So you get the idea. Same goes for ADSR. We can set anything to an ADSR. So if we want a volume, if we want to set the instrument, set the ADSR as a source, as a control source, a modulation source for this parameter over here, volume B comes up. I'm just going to solo this sound for a second. See what I've done? I've pressed the solo button, which is essentially the same as doing that. So I'm in my source B right now. I'm going to solo this sound out. So we're just focusing, zeroing in on this. Select my volume. Go down to here. Pull down this menu showing the ADSR envelope, and it's showing me this particular envelope over here. Now I can go and do that. Give it some. And we can pull this out for as long as we like. So that's the modulation source. Very easy to see what's being modulated by this modulation source, a modulation matrix, by the orange rings that are highlighted around the particular parameters. So any parameter with an orange ring around it is being modulated. To find out what is being modulated by, just click it, and it'll tell you down here what the modulation is. Sequencer Same kind of thing. I'm going to, what am I going to modulate? I am going to go, let's just turn this back up a second. Oops. So, in fact, I'm going to change the volume to my sequencer. So I'm going to go to sequencer, and it pulls up my sequencer. Now I'm going to go give it a little sequence. What it's going to do is basically modulate my volume. Why is it not doing anything? Because of this. So you start getting an idea of how to create some movement